I normally really love to do garden tours, but since it's been so cool out, it's been so hard to plant anything. But I think right now we're just kind of really getting prepped and ready to go because I think it's going to start to warm up from this point on. Thank God. So I got to let the chickens out today, which is awesome because they're going to start scratching through a lot of the garden, getting it ready. We got tomatoes that are probably going to be going in here in about, I'd say about a month. So I want them to get in there, pick whatever they can out as far as grass, leave their droppings behind. Just really get this thing nice and fertile, ready for some tomatoes. What's awesome about these girls is they love to till. So really, there's not much you need to do when you have chickens as far as getting your garden ready. Put them in here, you know, maybe throw a little bit of their food in here as well, some of their scratch, but let them dig around for a little bit. They'll find worms, they'll leave their droppings, they'll eat the grass that's possibly growing through, and they'll get this thing just primed and ready for the season. Now I actually got a few things already planted in here. So if you saw my video earlier on the potatoes, they are right in this area here. Right next to them, you might see some onion starts here. This is actually our Walla Wallas that are going to be coming up. And beyond that, we're going to have bush beans and glass gem corn, which is absolutely gorgeous and probably one of the funnest things to harvest. Here's kind of a leftover of what they did in this bed. There was some grass that was poking out. They really got in here and they dug it up pretty good. I actually had to kind of chase them out of here because they were getting pretty low, but I was able to rake it back in. Again, they left some manure behind, so that is extremely high in nitrogen. Great for those plants. You're doing pretty good over there, aren't you? For some worms. It just seems like spring's taken forever to finally get here, and it is awesome today because we're going to get up to, I think they said about 76 to 78 degrees, which, yeah, that's growing weather. I'm pretty happy about that. Hopefully we're going to start to see some stuff coming up. I did get one thing coming up so far. So these are the chives that we grew last year. I actually put in a couple of the chives that we had in the kitchen. That's this over here. You can kind of see the huge difference between the two. You know, you got a little bit of brown there, whereas with the stuff that's growing back, totally green, a lot more thick. And I think I'm just going to leave this out here. This is going to be the chive barrel. We have a couple alums that are coming up in here as well. It's going to be awesome though, because I think this year we should start to see some blooms out of these guys, which will be gorgeous. Definitely recommend growing these every year. It's really nice to have these girls out. I mean, they've been cooped up for quite a while. So it's really fun just to actually get them out and let them free range for a while, and they are just loving every minute of this, which I think we're going to let them out a heck of a lot more in the summertime as long as we're out here. Sometimes got to be careful because there are definitely hawks that are flying around here, so I definitely have to be out when they're out. Another cool thing is it starts to get a lot more green around here, and you start to see weeds and stuff popping up. That's actually less chicken feed I need to feed these girls, and I'm going to start feeding them weeds. They eat it. They love it. Gosh, you know, I mean, they're nature's groundskeepers. I mean, look at that. So, I mean, it's a great thing if you have chickens, pick weeds around the yard, throw it into them. They'll love it. And they're definitely getting some healthy greens. Someone decided to join me, so say hi. She used to run away from me like crazy, and now she absolutely loves being picked up. My purdy chicken. So at the end of the last season, I actually went out and got some leaves, and you guys can go back in my video and check this out, but gathered a bunch of dead leaves from my parents' house and just dumped it right here in the garden bed. And what's getting kind of cool about this is, with all these leaves broken down, these girls are now tilling that and mixing that into the soil. So basically, they're introducing compost deep down into the soil. Best news, I don't have to lift a finger to do it. Now, here's what I'm gonna do once they're all done and everything's tilled in, got the manure in. I'm gonna come by with a couple bags of just regular compost. I'm just gonna top off that soil, and everything that's left that's underneath is just gonna decompose, it's gonna break down, and it's gonna make for some really good food for anything that's planted in there over the years. What is it with you? You always gotta find, oh, she found a worm. I don't know if you saw that. She found a worm in there. Good job. So just to kind of give you an idea of what this is actually bricks of coco coir, which is basically coconut. I got bricks of this laying around here. I'm pretty much soaking it, letting it all absorb, and I'm gonna dump it in here for the tea garden. Rake it all in and do some soil, do some compost, some perlite, and just try to make this really fertile. Reason I use coco coir on this one instead of peat moss, we'd be using a lot of peat moss. I don't know if you guys know this, but peat moss is a finite source, whereas coir definitely is not. There's no shortage on that. So I think when it comes to big projects like this, if you can, get your hands on some coir. It definitely retains moisture. It holds it in really, really well. But yeah, we're getting closer and closer to that tea garden. If the weather will warm up more. So by the time this is all tilled out and I get that compost put on top, the soil is going to be very loose, you guys, and that's ideally what you want for your garden. You don't want something that's too compacted, just because it's going to restrict that root growth. With these gals, I mean, it's going to be soft. It's going to be easy for those roots to spread out. So very, very useful tool, chickens. So just kind of wanted to give you a close-up as to what Ayana does here. She likes to dig in down deep. Now, if you can see down there, that's grass that's trying to come up. And what's going to happen eventually is they're going to go through there and they're going to eat that grass and prevent it from coming up, which is more room for my plants. It's because she does a good job. Oh, by the way, those of you that do have chickens, if you have a hard time herding them up, getting them all in there, I got them in there by myself and hardly had to run at all. What was my secret? That right there. Show them an apple. You can't see it. Show them an apple. They will follow you around. Throw it back in their run. I promise you, you'll get most of them back in there. They'll be good to go, because it's hard to pass up an apple. All right, you guys, that is it for today. Chickens continue to impress me with everything that they can do around here. I think we're almost ready to get some stuff in the ground. I'm excited. This is going to be a big year, and I can't wait for you all to see what we have growing this year, and everything that's going to be put out there. It's going to be a lot. So I appreciate you joining us, guys. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. If you like what you see, let me know. It always helps just to get that like, thumbs up. Until next time, this is Jeremy of Fleetwood Patch saying, you got this. Take care, guys.